Like every other episode of the Heavy Light Podcast, this live stream is brought to you by the Fraternity of Girth, fogapparel.com. Fogapparel.com is running a brand new line of awesome pre-order shirts. If you haven't gotten yours, make sure you jump on and grab that. They also got fanny packs, they got comfortable strength sports apparel, and they are launching strength programming, which they're all about it, man. They're all in for the strength community. So this is one of those companies I always talk about that they are in for the Highland Games. They put it on the line. They put their money where their mouth is. And they love us. And, look, the pirate captain, Hayden Ballio, the CEO, the head honcho of Fog Apparel, he's a Highland Games thrower, and he's a damn good one, too. So, obviously, this guy gets it, and the whole company gets it. The whole culture is about it. So go to fogapparel.com, use code HEAVYLIGHT. You're going to save some cash. All right, so let's get started on the heavies. Let's do this. I've got a screen up where I'm watching myself, too. I've got like multiple. This is like a narcissist dream come true. I just want to point out here is that you get several screens to just watch yourself talk at a thing. All right. If there are problems with the sound quality or anything like that coming through, just throw them into the chat. Let me know. I'm a rookie here. Look, I'm not normally live streaming stuff. I need you guys to be my eyes and ears. Literally, I need you to be my eyes and ears because I got headphones on. I had a big white light in my eyes over here. Hopefully, I can see when things are going wrong. If the audio is mixed in, I'm guessing you can hear my voice. Looks like you can. Yeah. Now let's get the movie playing. Let's go. All right, let's watch the heavies.
It requires a great deal of skill as well as
Do we have sound? No.
Not just
Fantastic.
a case of getting stronger and faster. That's not going to work.
Yeah, we do.
A mix of strength.
I just don't have sound. So that's going to be fun. How can I do this? I'm going to have to use my brain, which never goes well. Let's do this. We got the sound going out from over there, right? I wonder. Just got to take on faith that you guys can still hear me. Not going to be able to hear my own voice. This is going to be the worst thing ever for me.
Power.
Yeah, still not doing it.
Flexibility and balance.
We are professional athletes. We're big. We're strong.
All
We're
right.
athletic.
Intro to the
We're
games, which I think they do a good job of here.
Everything wrapped up into one to try and throw these sticks and rocks and everything else.
There's Scotty with the body. I love some of the shots they get. This is a kind of as a Highland Games nerd myself. It's always disappointing to me how few great bits of footage there are of the sport. So it's nice to see. It's nice to see like a good footage done of the throws. And there's some really good ones in here. Good good high-speed camera, good slow motion stuff. Just actual pro camera crews filming our sport. It's cool. So there's Sinky, Sinclair Patience, son of George Patience, Highland Games athlete. George makes an appearance in here as well. But Sinky talking about lifting and talking about the lifting has not always been a thing for people in the Highland Games, and that's something to bear in mind too. Like a lot of people are just strong, man, and they get into this. So he came from rugby.
So I had to keep things very tight.
Now, I'm just reading the subtitles on this, but I have seen it, so hopefully I can.
The bigger radius that I can have and everything, the further I'm.
I didn't plan out my sound thing here, but it's okay. We're gonna roll with it.
At the moment, when I'm throwing, I'm still quite tense.
He's talking about weights for distance, and look, man, that's everybody. Sinky, we get you, man. The weights are technical; they suck.
In terms of you've got 8 events.
There's Scotty. So Scott was a shot put thrower and a damn good one. And he's one of those people the transition makes sense. And he says he's not a strong hammer thrower. I guess compared to the field he's talking about, he's not. But he's obviously extremely good. There's Matt throwing the weight. And I like that someone had the presence of mind to put him, and when they're talking about how technical it is, that they put him up there. Good technique. Weight over bar. Yeah, there's Haffy. Half Thor comes over, competes with us once in a while, throws a weight over bar. It's really fun. Love that he does that. And there's a caber. 175-pound caber toss. I doubt that's 175 pounds. We all know that. We all know it's probably a little blown up. Inflated number-wise for the cameras and whatnot. But, yeah, what are we going to do? It's a good kind of lie. It's like a white lie. So Sinclair says something interesting there. He says, I don't have a specialist event.
Probably my strongest events.
You're going to find that's true with a lot.
56 for distance. So that's an event this season.
A lot of the top pros, they're pretty consistent. Specialists are kind of going the way of the wayside. See, that's a good looking throw, man. The short handles look kind of cool too. It's hard as hell to throw, but they look cool.
which has been a bit of a nemesis this season.
Big old fat
I don't
caber.
know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But
I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
sort it out.
Sort it out pretty quickly. That's the story of my life on cabers too, man. Not a caber turner.
If you're gonna
Not
win
one of you
big games,
people.
you're gonna win worlds,
You
especially,
people.
You kind of have to have no weaknesses. If you take a 5th or 6th in one event, then you're out of contention, really. I guess for me, the hammers have traditionally been my weakness.
See, nice high winds right there. That's becoming much more the standard, man. Those high winds. Not so flat anymore.
I think a 5th in one hammer and a 6th in another. And that's, I think I worked out if I'd thrown both hammers 3 or 4 feet further.
Somebody commented in the YouTube chat.
Actually won the whole thing.
What happened, man? You sold out. You used to be cool. Either that's just a stupid bot, or hey, it's true. Except for that, I was never cool to begin with. I would like to take issue with that.
I don't know what I'm doing either.
Not true.
I have no real understanding of this event. I just sort of hope for the best.
How's the sound mix out here? It's annoying having me talk over this thing, right? You guys just want to watch the movie on a smaller screen. I get it.
I think the IHF World Title.
IHF World Title's definitely one that's well respected by athletes. Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty much the best guys in the world
Yeah.
there. So
We got a lot of world championships, and IHF's one of them for
who
sure.
knows, maybe someone will win all 3 this year.
Some will win all 3 this year, and then they'll be the undisputed.
Heavyweight champion.
Spoiler alert, does not happen. All right, Brescher. This is 2015, I think. 2016, maybe? Yeah. I should pay attention to details
Throwing
like
inside
that.
a castle. I mean, you can't ask for anything better than that. It's amazing setting.
So this was, I was still in the Hate Brand Good days at this point.
Really,
And Matt and I were working together.
So
So
that's why I'm here.
like a personal historical perspective here. Like Matt was out of country for a stretch there. Like he actually did. He spent some time overseas, and then there was a couple of times like he threw in Scotland during this stretch, which they're going to show you here, and then he also threw in Brescher. So, he's gone, he's traveling, and Matt does a good job staying in touch on the road and everything like that. But there's only so much he can do. So that was kind of like I just remember the stress of like being at the helm of everything at that time. I had a lot of responsibilities as it was. We were just kind of a 2-man team, and but I just remember all that other stuff like running the Instagram account and tons of other things like that also fell on my plate. And so it's funny. Like I see this, but like I'm super stoked because I love watching the sport. I love watching my friends throw and everything, but I'm also like, I have like PTSD from that. But that wasn't again, of all the jobs to be stressed out, one at a company that you built, not a bad one though. Not a bad way to be stressed.
It's because of the competition is so stiff.
I think Dan gets a lot of good shine in this film. I'm happy to see that. He's a good dude. He does a lot for the sport. He's a great athlete, and you'll see in this. I think Dan, comports himself well, and I think he's well represented.
Years at every championship, I think Dan and I right now have
Matt
the best
Toe.
complete game.
And he's right.
Where
Him
those
and
guys
Dan were the
throw in those
best.
events and where you can push people between you to gain some points here and there is really what makes the difference. If I could take second place in every event all weekend, I'd be happy. I'll win.
So Matt. This is the clean-shaven Matt days, by the way. This is a babyface Matt. Interesting thing. I'm going to talk more about this as it comes up. I don't think this film...
That's part of being a professional is that all the training and everything is now so I can enjoy this.
I'm going
I'm
to let
not
him say
interested in
this.
second or third. I want to win.
I want to win. Yep, bring that fire, man. So, I don't think the movie, anytime you do a documentary, a lot of times, not every time, but you're going to find that there's a temptation to, on the part of the directors and the editors to create characters. And it helps. It honestly does. It helps to create characters, to create narratives, storylines between people. I don't think they're too heavy-handed about it in this documentary, which I think is good. Obviously, you're going to see there's one thrower that if you've all watched it, so whatever. It's Scott. Scott is definitely kind of he takes the main narrative thread. I think they found a good one there, and it was is interesting, is fascinating, and they got a lot out of Scott. I really do. And like, I don't know Scott personally. I've only seen him like social media and on other people's videos and this. Scott's not like a dynamo of a personality, like a Matt or some of the other guys in like even like a Sinclair. Like he's not a dynamo of a personality, but I think they really got a lot out of him. So that was cool to see. But there was a little bit of story crafting and character crafting, and it's hard to not inject your own biases as somebody that knows the sport, but I think they definitely painted Dan as the virtuous, the All-American, and they definitely painted Matt like they did the thing that I've been saying that like film crews and reality TV should have done at some point and created like this perfect dynamic. Matt even talks about it at some point. They played this perfect dynamic of Matt as like the godless heathen, and Matt and Dan as the All-American, God-fearing man. And, those are not too inaccurate, but I think they made Matt seem a little, what's what I'm looking for here? I think in terms of story crafting, I think they made Matt seem a little bit more like glory hungry. And they also, I think it didn't, and this is maybe just my bias as his friend, like I don't feel like there was this full representation of like what a good champion he was, that he was a 2-time champion and that he was pretty dominant. Like he just kind of was like, in the way the games that they watched here, Matt was not healthy and like he was not an also ran, but like, he was making the podium and everything. But I think there was a little story crafting to make him seem like a little more glory hungry, I guess, or like more just about the win. And I don't know. Some of that. But it wasn't heavy-handed. They didn't do a terrible job. I paused too long to talk about that. But yeah, a little bit of story crafting. Anytime I watch a documentary, I'm going to be aware of that. I'm going to be thinking about, are they trying to create characters out of these people? And a little bit, yeah.
I've often won that event at the World Championships. And,
so Scott winning stones, again, not a shot there. Stone thrower.
Need to win that event, that's 1/4 of the day. A bad throw at 56, it negates everything I've just done. So.
And they put everything in meters, and I'm not smart enough to transpose that on the fly, so sorry.
It's a dynamic, and it changes because of the way games are scored. You're not. It's not like a decathlon where you're getting points for how far you throw. You're just getting points on your place. So people coming in between.
Yeah, I like things like that, and talking about the way scoring works and the way we do that kind of stuff. I think this was good because they didn't do the thing. It's like, how every Spider-Man movie forever, like they had to do the origin story. Like, I don't think you need to do that all the time. Like, sometimes you just need to jump in and get into the action. I think they struck a really good balance of explaining some things about the sport and making it relatable and watchable, but not doing it like, this is what the Highland Games is, which we've gotten a million times. Like, if you're watching this, you know what it is, or at least you're going to find out and do your own research because you found it so interesting.
Keep it together. So we're definitely nowhere near done. Strong caber group. It'd be a real easy event to pick up a 4th or a 5th in and throw well.
No one does a kind of caber. It's something that
no one does a kind of caber. That's well said again, Matt. No other sport is anything like it, for sure. This is our thing. Wish I were good at it for that reason.
Early and it just shoots into the sky. It is challenging, and it's one you really can't fake.
Great atmosphere. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, it looked really cool them throwing in that castle in Brescia. Like Brescia, that's a cool environment. Good crowd that first day. A lot of people, thousands of people. Inside a castle in France. I mean, fuck, man. That's just the reason to do this sport, is the opportunity to do cool shit like that. Look how close the caber fell to the crowd, too. They're just like, ooh, neat. Hey, that could kill you.
Especially with this crowd. This crowd's so loud. So loud. I would have loved to done that and give it a cheer.
Yeah, I bet them being that close and walled in like that and raised up, I bet that was loud as shit.
It's all about running, isn't it, really? Your sprinters and your middle distance guys. And, no one's particularly interested in shot put and discus, unfortunately.
That's changing, though.
Games with a heavyweight,
People are getting interested in the shot and discus, though. That's changing.
You're
slowly.
A focal point, for sure. Where you've got 10, 15.
Shot put's huge in the United States now.
It's quite special. I wouldn't want to miss those games.
Huge in that we have great competition. It may not be like the premier TV event. Clean technique. Get over. That's good. It's hard to not watch this like a coach. Like, man, that's a good, consistent, repeatable technique there.
Great atmosphere as well. I was quite dominant in that cave as well. No one else really tossed it, so very happy. I've won 2 of the events today, but unfortunately, I struggled with the 56 today, and that's going to cost me for sure. But we'll see how much it costs me.
That's how it works,
Tomorrow
man.
unfolds, you know?
You know, the bottom of the table
Good
like
day.
that, the bottom half.
Right where I
In
wanna
tight
be.
competition, a championship, it's hard to come
Turn the
back.
caber, but only lost a point to Dan. It's a tight fight right now. I got 11 sitting in first. Dan's 14, Scott's 15. So I got a 3-point lead going into day 2 with 4 events left. So
Yeah, it's got to be a crazy
I can't
thing.
take second all day and win.
The guys who have finished on the podium the last couple of years are right in the mix again. And that's what's
Doing
what's great
2
about our
days and
sport
just
is that it's
like a
not
lot of
guy
times when you're in
comes in once,
first,
1 year and just
you know,
mops
if there's
several
not,
wins
if
and moves
there's a
on.
little
This
spread in the
is
field,
something
you know,
that
you're pretty
we've been
locked
working
in after
for
like 3 or
years
4
on
events or
end,
something like
and
that. You
that's
know,
why we
you're
care
probably
so
going to
much,
coast,
because
but
we
if
have
it's a tight
invested so
field, you
much
don't know
time
from one event to the next.
to do this sport.
I think in America we have this hero worship sometimes of all these athletes, and somebody comes up to you.
I kind of like what Dan says, and the point he makes again, I think later in the film, is like the idea that, and other athletes say this in other ways too, is like, it's not an accident that the guys who are there. Like, there's really not a lot, like there are in the amateurs a lot of times, where you have like a phenom that comes through and just blows everybody away. That doesn't happen at the top of the top in the pros. It's people who put in time. Like Matt's the closest to a phenom in this group, I guess there was. Just kind of blew through the AMs really fast, but a lot of these guys did that. You know, that American model is different. You know. But everybody's got years into this. It's not like there's not a lot of flash in the pan
games,
phenoms.
And once your autograph, like, that's cool. Like, that's something I never thought I'd ever be able to do. So even just for a little bit, your athletic talent is
Yeah,
valuable.
I agree with Dan there. It's cool, man. It's a cool thing to find this like cheat in the system where if you're an athlete, all of a sudden like you can still go be an athlete in front of a crowd.
You know, I would rather the environment and the rain not be a contributing factor to any of the events, but we've all got to deal with it. I mean,
How different does Matt look now?
We all throw our best, and who comes out on top comes out on top. There's just a lot of factors with rain, and so, but it's something to think about, but at the same time, there's nothing I can do about it. So you just got to perform the best you can with what's out there.
I hate throwing when it's wet too. I hate throwing when it's really raining. A little wet doesn't bother me. I hate it. There's nothing glorious or fun about it.
It's not helpful in any way.
I had a reasonable day yesterday. Probably my weakest event was a caber, which was always going to be the case. I was disappointed. Scott Ryder took me aside this morning after breakfast.
I like this part.
And gave me a bit of a heart-to-heart. Basically told me how rubbish my caber was. And it does. It lets me down massively on the overall. So it's something I need to sort out. He's given me a few tips.
He's given me a few tips. Basically running. Getting stronger. Yeah, that's so Highland Games right there. It's like, hey, I'm gonna have a heart-to-heart with you. Your cabers suck, man. Why don't you work on those and get better? That is so Highland Games.
It's been a tight day. It's tight yesterday, tight today, but yeah, it's been better. Throwing better today, and just having fun. Sometimes you forget to have fun, and this is what we're here to do: is just the chance to throw and have some fun. So
See, I think Dan.
I've never thrown in this much rain. It's been a long time.
I'm going to read some. Sorry, I'm going to finish the thought first, but I think Dan comes across so well on camera. Dan and Matt, again, God, man, mainstream media just, or even like sort of first level of fringe media miss this. Matt and Dan are so good on camera. They're so good. And Dan comes across way better on camera than you'd expect. Knowing him in person, he's not like an understated guy, but he's a very even-keeled guy. But on camera, like that guy comes alive a little bit. He's made for it. He's got it. All right, Aaron Galloway says, I watched this last week. It's great. Sorry I missed the start of this, dude. Oh, yeah, no problem. I forgive you. It's going to be on YouTube, so you can go back and watch all the awkward fumbling around with chords and stuff.
Still winning. We were tied after...
Kevin Ritchie, did you ever get to compete in Scotland? I have not yet. I'm going to before it's all said and done. That's gonna make the bucket list. I got to do it.
We got 2 left. Probably going to come down to the weight over bar. As it should.
As it should. See, Sinclair looks pretty good there, man. I don't know where the disconnect with him with the top guys is, but technique looks good.
Just like home. It's worse than home. I've never seen a games like this. See what happens here. It's going to be interesting. Just
Yeah, that's
so
wet and
slippery.
shitty, man.
You don't want to give 100%, but it's a world championship you're going to, so we'll have to be careful with safety, I think.
Oh, it's so hard to hold on to that thing. See these guys shortening up on their release a little bit, just because you can't hold on to the fucking thing, man. Tacky be damned. I mean, Toss and Sauce will do a great job for you out there, but
I mean, he could potentially lose.
yeah,
7, 8 points if he doesn't come up on that. I'm sure he will, but also the ground.
Look at the water on that fucking
putting our
field.
feet, it's just tearing up. So yeah, it doesn't get much worse. But same for everyone.
Dan and I are tied for first going into the last event.
Yeah, feeling good. Last event, weight over bar. A lot of good throwers here today, as always. We're a world championship, but looking forward to it. Been trying to improve on this event, trying to be consistent. This is one of those events where you want no misses. You want all the way up to the top, 15, 16, 17, no misses. So
No knockoff
that's gonna
bar
be the
there,
key
oddly
today.
enough.
We'll see what we can do.
Seems like in Europe it's more often a knockoff bar than anything else. Maybe I'm not seeing it right, but it looks like it's not.
Which
You get bigger numbers that way.
8 out of 12, lots to build on, but yeah, quite happy overall.
Hey, people that are learning to throw. You notice how pretty low these guys' swings are? That they don't really overdo it on the amplitude of their prep swings, and they don't swing it up to their chin. Something to learn there, maybe. Huh. That's weird. He's not swinging it up to his chin at all. Yeah, he threw it very high. Yeah, he's Dan McCam, obviously. You're not, but maybe something to think about there. I coach a lot of throwers, and I coach a lot of new throwers, and I see a lot of huge swings on the lob. Getting ready for it.
It's not what I trained for. But at the end of the day, it's all good. I got to spend a week in France with my wife. Spend 2 days out on the fields with these guys. I like it. Can't really complain. Hell of a weekend, man. You want that event? The rest of the spot on fire. Good work.
It was very, very
Sportsmanship
tough. One of
there.
the
Always
toughest
like to see
fields,
that.
The World Championships have ever put together.
I mean,
it is amazing
You can't
to
get
do.
too fired
I
up
put
and
a lot of
serious
pressure on
about the
myself
silliness of the sport.
I expect to win
If
every
you take
time,
it
and I guess
personally
that's
with
part of
people,
being a competitor,
there is
but,
something wrong with you.
the work you
'Cause
put
it's
in,
throwing
the
rocks and
time-
sticks.
the time that you
And a
sacrifice
castle in
makes
this
it worth
case.
it when things work out, so it's great.
Dan was a hell of a thrower, man. Still is. Come back to us, Dan.
What I understand.
I want to see who out there wants to see Spencer, Tyler, and Dan McCam go head to head.
Third is 25.
Who wouldn't like to see that?
Patty?
Fucking cool.
Fairly certain third's 25. And then it goes down from there, I guess. I have no idea, honestly.
They see it for themselves. It's been a good competition. It's been a lot
Scotty's
of
handsome
surprise,
mug on
I think, a
TV.
lot of tosses and turns, Personally, yesterday was
Everybody's
a
so
good day for me.
wet and muddy. God, it's
I won,
miserable, man.
my third
Like, I can feel that on me.
world title with the caver, which obviously I don't look at what I'm pleased about. And probably one of the best stone throws of my life, to be honest. That was
Yeah,
great.
it was a big stone throw. I
Today
remember
was
that.
probably one of the worst days on a Highland Games field. It's certainly a big comp like this. So I'm disappointed with today, But, you have to just accept what happens and look forward. Thank you. See you later. The dream was really to go to an Olympics as a shot putter, but it never happened. I think the timing was wrong. I'm not sure I was good enough, to be honest, really. And and other things, sort of life gets in the way. Got married, had kids, I turned a living. And the games really come from that.
It's a great outlet for people that love to throw, man. It's a good sport for people that were track and field. Just didn't end up reaching that top level where it becomes profitable. Or it becomes, a realizing of a dream, but it's a way to keep throwing, keep doing what you love.
I feel like seeking out minority sports.
A lot of guys and girls in our sport that are doing that.
It's difficult.
And you're all cheaters because you knew how to throw before you came to the sport. You're all cheaters. What was it my buddy Paul said? Say keep the athletes out of the drunk leagues. That's how we want it.
Superhero with cabers and stone putts and hammers flying over his head. They just think it's absolutely great. But it's just part of life, really. One of us are either training every night, every other night, so we sort of pass each other. Luckily, we work together, so we do see each other.
We got
some
3 of
point
those.
every day. But it's just normal, really.
Oh, daddy. I think my kids think I'm cool for it. I don't know. They've gotten so used to it.
No, but I feel like I know the place quite well now. I've driven all over. For me, it's actually one of the highlights of the games. I really enjoy driving around Scotland. It's a really beautiful place.
Yeah, see, I'm jealous of that. I want that. I want to do that driving around Scotland and competing, man. That's. Aaron and I talked about that quite a bit. We're still trying to get that trip to happen, to get a Scotland trip to happen. Just go throw a few times, get the experience. Be so cool. Sean says on the comments, I agree with you. I feel like they didn't represent Matt like he actually was. I never met him, but from every video I watched this time, he's such a chill but competitive dude. Very well said, Sean. Chill but competitive. Like on the field, all about it. One of the fieriest dudes out there. I'm turning this down a little bit while I'm saying this. Like one of the fieriest dudes to do it out there. But like seriously, in his day-to-day life, did not like have a bone of like care or drama or anything about any of the stuff for losing or winning, anything like that. Like he was just focused on doing him, and it's definitely true, man. Like, but I get it. They had to paint a character a little bit. They had to have the braggadocious, swaggering American who's more about like, you know, the competition and more mad when he loses or whatever. Like they had to use what they had to get that. I get it. I'm not mad about it. I'm sure Matt feels the same way. It's like, it puts shine on the sport. Who cares how you look in particular? They didn't look bad. They don't make him look bad. It's just not, you know what it is, man? It's the bias because I know him very well. Like there's years and years where I've talked to that guy every day, and like I just know him well enough, and to see somebody you know so well not represented exactly how you think they are in film is always a weird experience.
Straight away from you, the thrower and the judge who comes
Explain the caber. I think this, even though I said earlier, like they don't do a lot of like, here's what the Highland Games is, I think this is a good one for them to explain and talk about because this is weird. There is literally nothing like it. It's not throw farther or throw higher. It's throw more on a clock, throw straighter, over and straighter. It's just weird. So it is good. And I think they did a really good job of mixing in just enough information to get somebody to be like, well, how the fuck does that work? To go look into what we're doing and find our stuff on YouTube and find our groups and find people that are into it. Like, I think they did just enough without over explaining and making it boring like another like bodybuilder tries Highland Games kind of thing. One of the Winter brothers. Big old boys. He gets the rules to be that big.
See who gets the trophy. So we had an agreement this year that if we came first equal, I would keep the medal.
There you go. There, the 4 best Highland Games man of their
generation. Dougie Edmonds, legend.
Right there.
Had the guy customs this time. Like, what are you here for? Said the Highland Games. And you said, you make any money doing that?
I think this was.
I said, yeah, it covers travel, you know. And he's like, from now on, just say no.
That's funny.
All right.
Does it pay?
Dang it,
it covers travel. From now on, just say no.
There's something about the house here and the history. And
Matt talks about staying at Dougie's here, and he and I talked about this a lot too. And I think this was the time when he was there. I don't remember. I don't want to say it wrong, but I think Misha came over. Mikhail Koklayev, Olympic weightlifter, strongman competitor, all around strength sports badass. Misha was there and he like played the piano and like it was all sorts of, and he's like sent me footage of him doing that stuff. It was incredibly rad and weird, but yeah, I think this was that trip.
I know, that's special. I mean, you're talking about all of the top Highland Game throwers, all of the top strongmen who typically are pretty good power lifters. It's just, there's something about being somewhere where the strength stuff is respected, and it's not made a big hoorah about, but it's colleagues. We all get it. We all have to train. We're all part of it. We all shed blood in our own way for it.
We're looking at different eras, of course. We could actually go all the way back to the way the Highland Games started. An interesting thing is that the Highland Games men were the first professional sportsmen in the whole world, back to Donald Dinnie. There wasn't such a thing as a professional footballer or a professional cricketer or a
yeah, it is a cool thing that this very basic fundamental activity of throwing heavy things and who can throw something the farthest led to people being paid for sports probably earlier than almost anything else.
All of its strength. Flexibility, technique,
for
timing, the throw.
I wasn't the best shot putter in the world. I was maybe 10th or something. So I can think that out of those top guys, some of them will adapt to the grass and throw huge throws.
So far,
I agree with you.
200 years of games.
Just never
anyway, there's another topic we were talking about different generations.
Yeah.
This season,
so here's
my
where
dad's been
I'm talking
a
about
massive help to
Sinclair's
my
dad,
training.
George.
I'd certainly say he's my idol in terms of throwing. He competed for about 10
Who's a
years in
legend?
the professional games, and he won 2 world championships.
Nice and strong at the front.
Jim's strength, I'm probably stronger, so that just proves the point that technique is far more important in Highland Games.
He did
Very
lift
true,
140 pounds when he was 8.
Being big and strong never grows out of style, but at the top level, you got to be able to do it. You got to be able to throw.
You know? I certainly didn't encourage him to lift weights when he was young, but he was always strong. He's a lot stronger than I ever was now. I would say he's probably about 20% stronger than I ever was now.
Highland Games athletes are definitely stronger now than they ever were.
I'm sure he's proud. He'd be prouder if
I mean, I'm sure you can't account for the, just the natural level of strength a lot of the big guys that get drawn to the sport have, but I think in general training has evolved, lifting has evolved, recovery has evolved.
If you're going to be proper Highland Games
There's
guy, you
access
may as
to
well
drugs
lose
now
much
that there weren't
to
access to,
Scotland, right?
so I'll just say that.
Seems like a place to be.
And I think,
You can only do it here.
they're stronger now than they ever
Nobody's
were.
sitting in the States and saying like, well, I could have or I could have done that. It's basically Worlds without Dan. So it's going to be a fight.
I won here last year, so be looking to defend my title. It's a nice game. It's biggest games in Scotland, I think.
Back to that thing with the drugs, though. I will say, crazily enough, even though athletes are bigger and stronger than they ever have been in the Highland Games, I would still venture to say that among the major strength sports, that we are the cleanest. Just because the attitude of it is like taking drugs to throw something farther almost seems kind of silly. Like it's not the reason to do it. Like find a cooler reason, maybe one that pays you better, or that pays at all in most of our case. Now see, again, I've messed up on the audio here, so I'm not hearing audio. I'm just watching, so I'm just imagining upbeat rock music right now. Look at how these big boys get laid back. I love it, man. I love watching guys that are this big, this thick, still get laid back and flexible like that. Dan is the gold standard. He's not at this one. He's not throwing right now in this games. But Dan is a gold standard of a big dude that can just move like that. Look at the flexibility, man. Look at the speed of those big dudes. Got to be impressed by that. You don't have to. You can be whatever impressed you like being impressed by. I'm not your boss. But if I were, I'd make you go watch Highland Games with me.
Like some Matt Vincent, Scott Ryder, Berger, and the big guys, struggling to even get in the top 6 with some
Yeah,
events.
Lauren came out surprised a lot of people.
Top 3, I'd be really happy to do.
Lauren set himself up very well today by winning the 2 hammers. So at the moment
We have a North American bias, by the way. If you're watching this, there's a chance you have a North American bias. Virus? Well, there's a chance you have a North American virus or a Chinese virus, whatever. But we have a bias in that we have a very number-based tracking system and a lot of social media presence about our throwing athletes and everything. We know who the best are. It's easy to forget and that there are a lot of monsters in Europe and on the Scottish circuit that outthrow a lot of our top guys. Not all of them. The U.S. still has the best throwers, like pound for pound at the top of the pro ranks, but there's a lot of monsters out there, man. Guys that aren't going to end up on NASGRA or whatever other database we end up landing on. So you got to remember that, man. There's a whole world of throwers out there.
In the weight for distance, and hopefully I can
I'm always so weirded out by people saying putt instead of put for shot put. It's the one bit of like English to English translation I can't get on board with. Also love that just once in a while it says bagpipes. Yeah, it's implied. Big throw.
I missed the world record, which has been set by a legend 35 years ago. I missed it by 3 stupid inches. So, I mean, it's good. I'm probably second best ever now, but it would have been so much nicer to be number 1. So, but we've got the light shots still to come. So last year I missed that record by an inch.
Man, that looks nice. Oh, to spin like that. Going back to the spin myself. Oh, everybody's really, really concerned. with my throwing style when watching the actual best in the world. But
42 years old and
it's
I'm
fun, man.
breaking
I
a
like it.
world record, so
Sometimes
very happy.
big throws happen.
There's nothing more
Sometimes
to
total
say
crash
than
and burns
it's a
happen.
great moment.
Tug of war in the background.
Taking
Very
a
static looking in that moment.
Englishman's record off and putting a
It's a performance art.
African turkey on top. It's nice.
Well done, Burger. I actually had a pretty decent throw. Managed to take third.
Track guys
behind
gotta love having a
Berger
shot put in
and,
Scotland.
Lucas. So helps me out a couple points over Lauren. Gave me another one up on Scott, but I've got to be basically perfect the rest of the day.
So many people in this that I'd like to meet too. I haven't had the chance to. I haven't actually met Scott in person. Haven't met Berger. Haven't met Lauren. I haven't actually met Sinclair in person either. Just talked to him online a little bit.
You don't expect to do that well against them almost.
Knockoff bar. The Devil's Bar. I mean, whatever. Like, you get bigger heights out of a non-knockoff bar. Let's just put it that way. I won't pass too much judgment either way.
Yeah, things haven't worked out brilliantly for me in a few events today, but that certainly worked out well. So.
Still in third.
Stupid
Scotty's
knockoff.
in second by 2.5.
It just seems like a lot of work to put it back up over and over again.
Point out of first, so
We could just
Lauren
have it up
needs to
there.
basically get struck by lightning for me to catch him here. If Scott could also get hit, it would really help.
See, that's funny. I know, again, I think it's one of the things that kind of snuck in there to make it seem like, not like he's saying it from an evil place, but they're just kind of giving you, like, well, that's the guy cracking jokes because he's not winning. Like, but yeah, that's funny.
Perfect connections that I'm chasing.
The whole reason you train and compete.
God, Cabers
this
looks so
stuff's the
big.
Reward. Prize money's cool and all, but to hang out with great people, do great things, in very cool places. That's why I spend a bunch of time in my garage sweating to death.
Anyways, it's working out, Ty.
That's, you know, and going back to that too, like, even though, like, it's not, the story is definitely the center, you know, the narrative thread they're following is Scott's journey here. I think it just goes to show you that, like, Dan and Matt are so charismatic on the camera that they end up talking a lot for the time, you know, comparatively that it's not about them and their journey or whatever. They end up talking a lot because they come alive on camera and they give you something to work with. They give you footage. And when you're shooting something, that's what it's all about. Who's giving you footage? Who's giving you stuff you can work with? Hey, well, there's Hazy. Lauren with the, oh, there's a baby pushing a stroller. Does everybody see that? There's a baby pushing a stroller towards where they're throwing the cabers. We're going to go back just a little bit to see that. I want to highlight this.
Capable of, and he's really getting there now. And I think in years to come,
I probably went back too far. We're going to live with this together. But when they go to the wide shot of the caber being thrown, I want everybody to see that there's a baby pushing a stroller that may have another baby in it from the right side of the screen towards where the caber's being thrown. Hey, Hazy. How you doing again, man? Okay. Let's all live through this moment together. I mean, I think it probably ended up okay. I don't know what the policy is. Look, there he is. Look at that kid. Oh, my God, kid. Who's watching the kid? There's other stuff happening, too. There's like a rugby game and a tug-of-war. Kid!
So I got it, you know.
All right.
It's been a bit of a struggle today. It's been a good comp.
I'd like to know how that ends up.
No creep win. Would have been nice. I don't know. I really would have liked to win today. There's not a whole lot of games throughout my season I really give a shit about winning, and this is one of them, and I just didn't get it done. So, it's a bummer.
And Lauren?
Doing pretty consistently, quite pleased with the performance, but I'm getting to that kind of age where I need to up my game a bit and try and compete with the big
The
guys.
stellar wraparound shades, a la Adam
for next year,
Sizemore.
come back.
Nobody does a set of
Faster,
wraparounds like Adam Sizemore.
better attempt, I think.
Lauren's giving him a run for his money.
A lot of things are out of your hands, you know. someone comes and does something spectacular, you can't do much about it. All you can really do is
Very
just
true, Scott.
do what you think you can do, hold it together, and see what
You don't
happens.
get to throw the shit at people. It's not a versus sport. You just happen to be competing against people. Kind of fucking cool if it was, though. If you got to throw one hammer at the guy that was one in front of you.
But Scottish champion. Yeah.
Or no, like do it Mario Kart style. Like the dude in last place gets to throw one of his implements into the athlete tent.
Probably slightly disappointing for others. I mean, this is definitely the best.
No, you put the leader
Look at my numbers across
out in the field.
This is as good as it's been. So
and then you have the guy in last place throw an implement. Famous grouse. What a incredibly Scottish name for a bottle of
I think there's no other way to describe it. You know, if somebody can just
kids
toss
all
the
over
calibre the way he does, and he manages to get it up and over. I mean, that has to be an amazing amount of strength to do that. Yeah, especially as it's not something he grew up with. You know, it was sort of, it wasn't like that was in the family. That's what you did. You just went and did it. They say that your name defines you, don't they? And I always thought it's quite funny that I named him Scott.
Mom's definitely proud of him. That's adorable.
It wasn't for any connection. It was just I liked the name, and when he was born, I wanted a simple name, and I named him Scott, and he's turned out to be this great Highland Games champion. So he's gone far beyond anything that I would have imagined, but he was very determined. He was always very determined to push himself as far as he could, I think.
I compete in probably 25 to 30 games throughout Scotland through the course of the summer, and I win most of those. But I haven't won a really big international
he's had some
game.
shit. I win everything close to me. Pretty dominant, but then all of a sudden I go to these big games and there's a bunch of other assholes that are really good.
On my sort of achievements
Seems
as a
to
Highland
happen.
Games athlete.
Like I have a lot of lightweight trophies from regional and local games, but only a few from championships. It's weird. All these other dickheads show up and throw far. Oh man, this makes me miss festivals, dude. We've been stuck without them all year. Had nothing. That is not real sword fighting. That's just clacking blades together. Sorry. Anybody that follows the podcast knows that I have serious feelings about Scottish festival sword fighting.
So
that's not real sword fighting. That's just hitting each other's blades to look cool and make neat sounds. Yeah, it makes me miss the festivals, man. It sucks. Haven't had the environment in a while. Haven't been in the friendly confines.
And we got a talented group this year. You know, this is the big game, and if there's a time to risk it and give it all you got, this is it.
Pleasanton, man.
It's great to be here and see some of the best throwers in the world. Place-wise, I'm not too worried. I just want to throw what I know I can. If I can have a steady day and throw close to my personal best, then I'm happy.
I got one on my chair, sorry about that, guys. It's getting creaky.
There's a bit of a festival atmosphere.
Felicia.
There's over 100 throwers here today, so to have 100,
Felicia
you always
Balchin,
watch your back.
Throwbro sponsored
and
athlete,
make sure there's no
making an
lights
appearance,
flying at you.
throwing. I'm sure she slowed her down and critiqued her own technique and freaked out about it like everybody would when they see themselves throwing in a Highland Games documentary.
You know, as far as
Shout
I
out to
am
Felicia.
concerned as an athlete, this one is completely legit. This one is, you know, something that they paid to have the best guys
Pleasanton,
here.
California. There's another one on the list. Believe it or not, I have not done this one.
Weather's good.
I have
It's
been
really
invited
just
but
a
not
chance
able
for
to
us
make it.
showcase and see who's the best athlete that
Supposed to
day.
go another year and film for HD Life. There's Mike Dickens in the
nice
background
having the
filming,
crowd behind you and all
fanboying
that.
out. Gotta love
It
it.
makes a difference. You know, I can throw well with no crowd.
We all
but
do it.
If
Especially
everything's
with the
lining
big guys,
up
the
and then you
pros.
get the crowd and
Fun to watch,
everybody
man.
involved, it's really good.
He was a good weight thrower. Yeah, Pleasanton have not made. Supposed to go out there and film for HD Live. That fell through another time. Always happens during kid baseball season.
It's not all just put on a show for the crowd. I like it. You know, if I'm
gonna do
feeling
it.
the moment, yelling
Gotta
and
do it
screaming, man,
before I'm done
I
throwing.
wanted that throw. I wanted
Gotta do
that
Pleasanton one
record.
time.
And, you know, a moment like
Steve,
that,
I'm
too,
coming,
where the
man.
other
I promise.
athletes that you're throwing with are pulling for you, too, to hit a big one. Yeah, it's solid.
Yeah, Matt
It's not
makes a
quite
good
team
point here
sport
again.
anyway,
Like he talks
but
about,
you're definitely connected to these guys.
you know, as I've called it before, it's a team sport played individually. You know, we're a lot of people came from team sports that do this. A lot of people came from track and field, which are individual sports, but still kind of competed as a team, if you're part of a school. But you have a lot of people that are all cheering for each other and building each other up, but also shit-talking each other and, just chatting a lot of shit and riding each other all day and stuff. And it's a joke and fun atmosphere. It reminded me of baseball practice. It reminded me of that team dynamic. And I think a lot of people that came from team sports still enjoy what they get there. They get the dynamic of being an athlete on a team. It's fun. But you get to compete individually. You don't have to count on a whole team to show up to practice. And your fate is your own.
Moving on to the Caber now, which is the final event. It's been a bit of a nemesis for me all year. So we'll see how it goes. It's a hot afternoon in front of a lot of people, so I don't want to embarrass myself.
Pleasanton was hot that year.
I'll give it everything
It does
I've
get
got
hot.
for the final event of the first day.
In California, there's actually temperature once in a while. Good turn. Is it possible to not get super fired up at 12ing a caber? I don't think it's physically possible. I don't care how small the stick is. If you do it, it's just like yes.
It's not good enough.
No matter how many thousands of people have done that task, it's still a relatively small amount of humanity that's ever completed that task, so you feel pretty good about yourself.
A little bit disappointed with Caber to take fifth. I think I'm fifth.
There's something about turning a big caber.
But to be honest, in the end, happy
It's
just
quite
to turn it.
satisfying.
I didn't turn it on the first two throws.
Only happened a
Quite
couple
pleased
times
to
for
come
me.
through the last throw there. But anyway, these guys are the best in the world, so can't complain.
Here's Dan with a shoe-gazing style. One of the great caber turners. They showed Andy. Andy Vince had been in the background there once earlier. Also one of the great caber turners of all time.
Next tomorrow for multiple guys, so have to just continue to claw and fight. But
so this is in the US of A, if you hadn't caught on to that. It's in Pleasanton. And one thing you'll notice is a lot of the athletes on the field are wearing sport kilt. Sport kilt is the #1 provider of kilts for the Scottish Highland Games. Sport kilt provides it all, man. I wear socks by them. I wear kilt by them. I wear a hat by them. I rock all the gear that I possibly can, man, because as I said about any other company that I've ever worked with for this podcast, it's important to me that they care about the Scottish Highland Games. They put their money where their mouth is, and Sport Kilt definitely does that. Go to sportkilt.com. You can get 10% off everything you get there. Get your next kilt. Get ready for next season. Come in fresh. Come in looking good, man. That's all I'm going to say. You got to come in looking good. Come in with the buckles and the fringe. Put all your patches on it. Be looking good. Get a bunch of Sport Kilt socks so you can just have one non-stinky pair at any given time. Go to sportkilt.com. Grab it all. Save 10%. Use code HEAVYLIGHT.
came through on a big throw on the weight over bar. Came through on my last throw in the caber, moved from third place to first place. So just trying to gain points where I can.
I always wonder what throwing in that horse track is like. I've thrown some pretty shitty like horse paddocks and stuff. I just wonder what the track is like.
It's time to go get in the pool.
Yep, there's Nate Parker. Retired Nate Parker. Beth Burton in the background. Yep, there's Nate. Looking sexy. Eating pizza in a pool. God bless America.
God, I thank you for your word, Lord. I thank you for this time to spend with my friends.
This is Dan's Bible study section. I think this is a little bit of the character development they're going for.
That you might come and you might just hang out
I
with us
feel like
as we open up your word.
that I'm not in the minds of the filmmakers, right? I don't know for sure. But I think they, just if they're like any other documentary film crew, they probably shot a lot of footage, got a lot of character development, a lot of character moments, a lot of situations, and then they had to make some decisions later on about what they got and how to edit it together. You got to understand that about documentary filmmaking, that they're getting as many options as they can, and they're finding the best edit, the best narrative thread and edit that they possibly can. And I have a feeling that there was an attempt to find, there's Felicia again over on the left, getting warm. Good job. Way to work the mobility, Felicia. That they were trying to find the Dan versus Matt dynamic. I think they were trying to find it. And I think this section is a remnant of it and a holdover. I wonder why they couldn't make a whole thread out of that. I wonder why they couldn't make it more. Yeah, here it is.
Man, we relatively get along, but I believe there's some there's mutual respect as a whole. I would say he's probably confused of my lifestyle choices and decisions I make, but that's fine. The problem is he's a much better athlete than me.
Yeah. See what I mean? Like,
if he's got a throw that really, really counts, just come up and
that seems like it's a
I'd
remnant.
like to talk to you about my salvation. You'd have to stop, take him out of it. That's how I get him.
Yeah, I think it's a vestigial edit right there. I feel like they maybe tried to make that story work, and I wonder why it wasn't the choice. Maybe it just was too small in scope for what they're trying to do, you know? Maybe Scott's journey just really stuck out, and it does. I think, you know what? Even if that was the case, I think they made the right choice. I think Scott's journey is very engaging, and they got a lot out of him. And I think Scott also has a wonderful quality, which you're looking for in a documentary. I don't want to say star, but central character is that he's like an avatar. He's like somebody that I think the viewer can put themselves on and see themselves in that person's shoes a little bit more because of the journey aspect, because of the humility aspect. I think they can make an avatar out of him a little bit better, and I get that.
Dan's just taken quite a few points off Matt now. The ball's back in Dan's court, really, for the title, you know. So this last event couldn't be more important, you know.
All I can do is win it, and then it's going to fall how it falls, you know?
It's two bros wiping their hands down.
My goal coming into the championships was just to
Insect
throw
or is that my own hair?
consistently with what I have been throughout the season. I feel that I've done that, so I'm quite happy so far. Hopefully I'm not going to come last overall.
So fast.
Get in! Oh, no!
I didn't see the foul there. Did you step on top of the toe board or something?
What was it?
I didn't see it. Looks like Scotty didn't agree either.
Well, I just threw away a podium. Just two long throws, which were both fouls, and a safety throw, which wasn't far enough. So, yeah,
I don't know.
You know, I haven't hauled
I always give the thrower the benefit of the doubt. No throws are fouls.
In the lightweight, which I normally always do.
And if you ever, by the way, as a thrower, if you rat out another thrower, or like, is there any foul right there? Go fuck yourself. The only throws that are fouls are when they get called fouls. That's it. And those are all wrong, and the judges are all liars. Should be no fouls. Should be honor system.
I was waiting for her to say foul, but I released it. It was good at 85-2, I think it was.
85-2. That's big.
Come on, Matt.
Now we got a guy that throws 95 all the time.
Or lose the championship to Daniel. Now, Matt, he wants this throw. Ladies and gentlemen, not today.
Yeah, still pretty technique though.
85-2, I think it was.
Might have been the winner, but it was good.
And Matt couldn't beat that, so won the overall, man. It's amazing. It means a lot.
Oh well. Didn't throw that as well as I wanted to, but what are you gonna do? Still would have needed somebody to come between us, and nobody else has. We're out by ourselves again, as usual.
Well, this
Yeah,
is getting a decision
Matt and
for me
Dan
now,
show for a few
so,
years there.
We'll see. You know, I'm gonna. I'll be competing next year for sure. See if I can come back and maybe win a world title. Bit of a sour note to end it on. It would have been nice to have made the podium.
I think I finished 9th overall, so not a bad result. Great guys to throw with, real good atmosphere in front of the grandstand. Hopefully in the years to come I'll have higher.
What a great field they put together at Pleasant though, right? Look at the pros in that group. What a great field.
It's one of those things where
they put it on the line, man. Pleasant's a real deal.
Good
Good job, Steve.
And yell for you. So the fact that people do that here, it's amazing. It's awesome. Makes you feel great. And to know that sometimes your hard work is working. It's part of it. I still have things I want to perform and do well in. I want to go to Scotland and spend more than just a couple days over there like I have in the past. So probably that's next. Go over to Scotland next year and see how I can do.
So this
See what
is
happens. Get some more titles.
interesting,
More titles to
like
try.
kind of knowing a little bit of behind the scenes stuff. I don't want to speak for Dan here, but I actually pause for that part. But in Dan's last year or two, like his last year especially, I noticed there was a lot more of him expressing that he wished that he would spend more time enjoying the places where he traveled instead of going and competing and getting back. That was kind of always his rhythm. He'd go back to work, go back to his family and everything. And I think he maybe, Dan, if you're listening or, watching or anything like that, like, I don't want to speak for you. It just seems like maybe in that last season, you sort of like started to appreciate how cool, even more than you did before, how cool it was. Like you got to go all these places and travel all these places and you wanted to extend the stays and enjoy it a little bit more. It seems that way. Like maybe you started to, as you started seeing your end of the sport, or I'll speak in second person again, I guess. As Dan started to see like the end of his sport or the end of his run, like you started thinking about like, like I got to make sure that I'm enjoying this. It seemed like that was a theme as he went later in the career.
We're only getting bigger.
Do y'all think Dan will ever come back?
Kind of games,
Or Steve. Steve's so cool, man. I love that dude.
I think the future's bright.
Father Time's going to win.
Bunch of knuckleheads.
At some point,
If I pause it, I'm sure I knew some people there.
What I do know is I have control
Chuck.
over today and I have control over now.
Matt.
And the only thing that can never be taken away from me are my experiences. So traveling around the world
You
to
guys are
throw
silly.
and challenge
Look at them being
myself
silly.
physically and mentally, that's why I do this. It's a life experience. And those are my things. That's the trophy. It's that. It's sharing unique moments with amazing people in interesting places. That's why I do it.
Good jab throw in the background. Teach your kids to jab throw. That way they can kill
the
people.
off season is the hard. It's doing the training. that's
Spear
the toughest.
antelope.
The sort of daily grind, the aches and pains are.
Good insight by
becoming
Scott
more
here.
and more problematic.
Again, he's just a very
a lot of
straightforward,
sports, training is it's almost more important than competing.
honest guy.
Sounds stupid, but you spend more time training than you do competing.
Yeah.
So you've got to have that.
I love that. You spend more
gotta
time
have that
training than you do
motivation to go and
competing.
do
By
it.
far. By
I still
multiples.
think there's a lot of
Exponentially more.
There's so many elements to the game. There's so many disciplines.
So you got to enjoy it.
There's a lot of variables. There's a lot.
You
of
have to be
scope
some
for
sort of
improvement.
idiot
And I know a lot
that
of
likes to
guys
punish themselves with throwing
still
this kind of stuff.
Get better, especially the
I did it
heavier
today.
ones.
I don't even have any competitions
Quite
coming up.
late into their lives, they continue to improve.
Maybe for a really long
Certainly my
time.
plans to
And I
start
still went
now.
out and threw a stupid
I'm
hammer
looking
today.
to compete a full season this year and next year. I
Not
guess
the
that's
greatest
something
jab throw
I
right there.
like to
Look.
have in my life.
Get it together.
I need that. I need to have something.
Look at those
I need
baby
to have
blues on
a
Scott,
big
though, and the
competition
tight
just around
shot.
the corner.
Woo!
2-3 months away.
Got a little smolder to him.
And I guess when that stops, I'm not sure what I'll do. I think I'll start playing golf.
He's a bit of a hunk.
So you've competed for how long now?
Well, probably 10 years of full
game.
I remember
full
hearing so
range,
much
yeah.
about this trip
I
with
don't know,
Scott
you
and
know,
seeing so
I still
many
feel like-
Instagram stories and posts about this.
And I'm up for it. I still feel I can perform as well as I've ever done.
Sure, but that clock is ticking, and we all know it.
Matt loved to fuck with Scott.
Sure, yeah.
Just because Scott's a more reserved
Yeah, I mean-
personality and Matt
I mean,
is
how
the
many
opposite
more
of that.
chances will I have to win a world title? Not many. I think this may be the best chance I get. It's in Scotland. It's a games I'm familiar with.
There's Ashley in the back seat. Hey, Ashley.
Implements you're familiar with, the field, the setting.
Yeah, and I'm in shape. So I don't suppose I'll get a better chance to win it than this weekend.
So if you don't, you'll feel like you've really let yourself down.
No, absolutely, I will. Yeah.
This year should be a really competitive Worlds.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just
pretty
want to
there.
say a very big welcome to everybody, and in particular our very special guests. You'll be able to pick them out because they're 1.5 feet taller than anybody else in the room. We hope that in addition to fierce
banquet
competition,
events,
tomorrow you have a really good time. Enjoy
Easy for you to
yourselves
say,
here
Beach. These banquet events, they're always, it's really cool because you like go somewhere and you feel like you're like a guest of honor. Rocking an Under Armour shirt. Way to go, Sinky. But yeah, you feel like you're a guest of honor, but at the same time, like it is a little like an odd, old-fashioned holdover sort of thing, and like it's awkward. It's like an honor, but it's also awkward at the same time. Like, because it's like, we're all here to see you. It's like, yeah, I mean, I put on some tall socks and throw rocks tomorrow. So happy that we all get to be here together and you get to see me. That's I'm just trying out the stone before. That's every athlete, every Highland Games athlete known to man. If you have early access to the rock you're going to be throwing, you're going to put that motherfucker in your neck just to see. Just to see.
Tomorrow I want to enjoy it. I want to have fun.
A leg up.
I'm going to try my hardest to throw
That thing to nest under the point of your jaw there.
So, this is the biggest meet of the season, and personally I feel in good shape. I've been throwing well. Dan's the world champ, Dan McKim. He's the man to beat, obviously. I've never beaten him in a competition in my whole career, so it'd be nice to beat him today. I think I've got as good a shot as any today. I think probably this is my best form coming into a world, so I'm not sure what his form's like. It's normally very good on days like this, so I'll have to throw very well. This is the one that really
damn, it's hard to
counts
beat.
because it's the best field.
That much is true.
These are the best guys here, and so it'd mean everything. This is the pinnacle of my sport, and to win this would be, it would make me feel very happy because I'm not going to get many more chances to win it. So hopefully today we'll see how things go.
I mean, if they got a lot out of Scott, man, kudos on the filmmakers. They got like a really genuine side of him. They got an expressive side of him, and they got a really good character for viewers to relate to.
I think anyone could win today. There's no givens on a day like this.
It's kind of what's great about this sport is that we've been able to collect the greatest throwers across the world and come together and throw and have fun, and most importantly, I mean, just test what you can do against the others.
I know I've talked about the Matt and Dan thing a lot in this and many other media over the years, how much I missed that was to not see that documented. But I just wish that beyond the spectacle that we are, the spectacle of the sport, I wish somebody could see and get in with the personalities at the top, because still, right now, they're amazing. Like, look in this group. Just how many people, a good crew, a good director, a good camera crew was able to get a lot out of them. How much personality there was. There's just automatic personality built into the sport a lot of times. And I think right now, if you followed the top 5 pros around, you'd get amazing content. You'd get good stuff out of them.
Scott has got the lead.
It's just going to take lightning strike to make it happen.
Claire's throwing real well. Dan's a little down, but he's winning 2 hammers.
Planets to align, so to speak.
And then he'll throw well
to get eyes in the sport again and get the personalities involved.
See if I can't claw back a couple places.
But this was kind of like, for people that came into the sport in the era that I did, this is like a golden era for like personality and having people that you're into and you want to follow and people you can relate to. You can pick your adventurer, so to speak. People that you identify with. But this next generation will have them too. And in more diverse classes, and in different looks, different styles of athletes. I think you're going to have obviously the pro men, but now you got people coming in that are going to be able to look at the top women and find like their personal avatar, their person whose journey that they're on board with, somebody that looks like them, throws like them, whatever. Lightweights, guys that are around 200 pounds or that whatever, you weigh less than 200 pounds on a competition day. And lightweights, you have people like me, you have people like John Oden, you have people like Phil Sensata, you have people that have kind of paved that, the Mark Howells, the Scott Farrs, that have like paved the way for that, so they can like find somebody that's, hey, like I want to throw like that guy, or like I want to approach the sport like that guy, like I see myself in him. And the masters are better than ever. And guys and girls that are getting into the sport late, they can find that older person and be like, well, you know what, I only started at 38, but I want to aim to be like Mike Dickens by the time I'm his age or whatever. 25 years from now. Love you, Mike.
In all honesty, Scott is just throwing like a wild man. So he's going to be really, really hard to beat. It's his to lose, and I don't think he'll lose it. Scott's such a great competitor. He's throwing really well.
It's cool to see an athlete show up peaked. If you've done a peaking block or you've worked with athletes or been an athlete long enough, you know what it's like to be peaked for something. The way I've always described it is when somebody, and Scott is definitely in peak form here. Like he's tapered down his training perfectly. Everything he's touching is flying. But it's like when you're peaked, it's like every implement or every barbell or everything you touch feels like you're touching a live wire. Feels like it can just go and everything is light. It's an awesome feeling. I hope to feel it one day again.
So I just need to get the job done and finish it off. I'm trying not to get too. I just want to finish it off.
Scott was dealing here.
As long as I can knock it over pretty straight, I think I'll be fine. So we'll see. We'll see.
12 o'clock.
Dan Turner to Caber, not a huge shock.
And well done, over it goes. The Caber's going over lots of times for them here today. So
Shootout Caber.
Tight
A lot of turns.
When you're about to throw, you want to feel a sense of excitement. I want adrenaline. You know, you need adrenaline to throw things far. You know, but also you've got to temper that with some sort of technical thinking as well. Think about fast feet, loose upper body, relax.
That's good insight by Scott, and I really like that. And of course he turns it. His last Caber turn of the movie. Gotta have the arc. The narrative arc, guys. And they really did a good They really did a good job. This crew just did a good job with the edit and everything to make this a compelling piece of documentary film, whether you're into the Highland Games or not. Like, you could be a non-fan of this and watch this and be into it. And that's what we need to do as people that are huge fans and participants in this, is that we need to share this to people that are not. Recommend this to people outside of your Highland Games circle. Recommend this to people outside of string sports. Get them interested in these people. Go watch this movie about these heavy athletes, these pros. Oh yeah, like 2 of them are retired. The 2 top guys are retired now. Sorry.
But to finally get that championship, I'm happy for him because he deserves it.
Right. Now our winner and the World Invitational Heavyweight Champion is Scott Ryder from England.
Good job, Scott.
All week I've been nervous, really nervous, you know, and I don't normally get nervous anymore. But I've been nervous this week because you know I knew I could win this. You know, I thought this is my chance. You know, I thought maybe time.
Ooh,
but,
I've never gotten a sash
you know,
before.
it's great to be,
I've never won a
really
world
thinking
championship in
myself as a world
Scotland.
champion, you know, 'cause,
Guess you're gonna work on that.
it's obviously why I train. You know, everything.
More sashes. That's what I'm calling for in the Highland Games, athletic directors. I want more sashes given out. Enough of your medals. Bottles of scotch are cool. Let's do sashes. All right, I'm just going to imagine more upbeat rock music. Sinclair finally managed to win the Caber World Championship. Jim Leishman. Good job, man. Good job, Guy Satchwell. Sound and air photography, additional camera. Yeah, this crew did a great job, man. I can't remember the name of Optal something. I can't remember the name of the production company that does it. But yeah, it's very, very cool to see. There's a reason like everybody watching this has already seen it, right? Is that this is our sport, this is our thing, this is our culture, and we finally get to see it given a pretty decent treatment. Not like a ESPN, at 2 o'clock in the morning kind of treatment, or not like a YouTube channel by some slapdick like me, or like you're seeing like professional content that shows like this sport can look very cool, and the characters in it can be very compelling as well, and that makes me happy. I hope there's more stuff like this. I hope. I hope that we, not just a documentary film style, I hope that we get more content of this quality. And this shows, like happens in any artistic field, any creative endeavor, where you show maybe somebody else that like, hey, this thing, this little niche, this little world over here is pretty cool, and you can make some more content about that in your own way. And it offers what it offers is a canvas, I guess. And to have Highland Games as a canvas, to have the heavy athletics as a canvas for more artists to work on, I think is the key. That's how you get into public consciousness. It's getting butts in the seats, getting tickets sold at the festivals is important. But if we want to have a bigger stage and we want to continue to move forward, I think thinking about bigger picture things like that, how we're seen and in what media we're seen, is important. And so that's why I say my major message here, beyond just me watching a movie and talking out loud, is You have to share this with people outside the Highland Games. You have to recommend this. Everybody talks about, especially now that we're all quarantined, you talk about what you're watching, what movie you're into, what you watched, all that kind of stuff. Recommend this to people. You can make a mention and say, like, yeah, this is a sport that I play or whatever, but just say, like, it's really good. It's a cool story about this guy, Scott Ryder, who's an English guy who does the games. Like, just sell the story, don't sell the sport, you know? And I think that's general good guidance for anybody trying to sell this idea or trying to move this sport on move to a wider stage, pushing it into more into the consciousness, is that it's just like it is in any other sport. Stories sell. Push the stories, push the personalities. Don't worry about pushing the particular technical parts of the sport because that won't mean a lot to people anyway. All right, with that, I'm going to call it right here. It's been a ton of fun. Try to do more of these live stream things. The next time somebody does another movie about the Highland Games, we'll do another watch party. But thanks to everybody that showed up. If I didn't answer your comment, I apologize. I'll try to answer it later on. I'll just type it back to you. But if you got any questions or you got any suggestions about how you want to see one of these go, don't be afraid to hit me up. Find me on social media and go to sportkilt.com. Use code HEAVYLIGHT. Go to fogapparel.com. Use code HEAVYLIGHT. Visit our sponsors. That keeps everything going. Thank you, guys. Love you.